About 4 months ago, I shot a 175-pound boar in East Texas. I decapitated it, skinned its face, boiled it over a fire for about 3 or 4 hours, hosed it off to get all the major chunks of meat out, and then I put it under this bucket right here on top of an ant mound. And I left it completely untouched for about, I would say it's been over 3 months now. So now I want to turn this into a European mount, and I think it's going to look awesome, so I want y'all to come along with me. So let's see how much progress we've made. Oh, that's awesome. That is so cool. So yeah, they just completely, look at that. Millions of fire ants. So they just completely ate everything. There's just too many fire ants. This is the only way to deal with them. I think this is the best way to do it because I don't want to lose any of the teeth, just to get more of the ants off. Almost lost this guy. I'm going to remove all the teeth that are wiggly. For example, these cutters. Wow. These are a lot longer than I thought. I've gone through the entire thing with this toothbrush and I pulled out all the teeth that were falling out and I've scrubbed it. So I think the next step is whitening. So before we whiten it, this is what she's looking like. Best part about pigs is you can kind of exaggerate the tusk a little bit. The first step of the whitening process is degreasing. And what most people do is they take Dawn dish soap and they put it in water and they put the skull in there and they wait a few days to a few weeks. I'm gonna try something a little different. We're gonna try engine degreaser, and then we're also gonna put it in the bucket with dish soap. So let's see how this works. Might help this table too. See what that does. We're using the same bucket again. We got a bunch of dish soap. I honestly don't know if that did anything. I sprayed it down. It might be more something that takes time. So we're gonna try the dish soap for, let's say, a week or two. Okay, we got the dish soap in there. In goes the skull. You're supposed to keep the water warm. So I'm just gonna put it out in the sun somewhere that gets direct sunlight all day and just put a lid on it. And I'll come back in 2 weeks and hopefully the skull is degreased. The pig bones have been in this bucket in Dawn dish soap degreasing for about a week and a half now. I got a little busy. I didn't intend for it to be that long. So let's take them out. I want to set them in the sun for a few days so they can dry out and get a little sun bleach. And then we'll apply all the stuff to actually whiten it. Ooh, look how much fat. You see all that on the edges? That's all fat floating to the top. Okay, let's dump it. Not the color I thought it would be. Okay, here's what the skull's looking like now. I'm gonna probably leave it here for up to a week. Main thing is I want to dry out some because there's still like places where you can see the blood is trapped in it, but that should be fixed. This is after 2 days of sitting out in the sun and after being degreased. There's a huge difference here. In total, the skull has sat out in the sun for about 2 weeks now. I let it sit a lot longer than I thought I would. It just rained, so normally it would look a lot more white, but it just absorbed a lot of that liquid. So now we're gonna put on this 40 volume cream developer. And basically the idea is this is the highest concentration of hydrogen peroxide you can get. We're gonna kind of lather it on with the help of a toothbrush and then put it in a plastic garbage bag and then let it sit for about 2 or 3 days. Okay, I've covered every inch of this skull in this the Color Charm 40 volume. So now I'm gonna bag it up and I'll come back in a few days. I put a second coating of the hydrogen peroxide on there, and I think this is about as good as it's gonna get. It's definitely wide enough for me. So now let's go find a piece of wood to make into the backstop. After walking around our property for a while, I think this is our best bet for a log. So I think I want to basically cut it just right here and make this whole part the back. I couldn't get our chainsaw to fire over. It hasn't been started in a while. So I had to break out the handsaw. This absolutely sucked, but this wood's pretty old and I was able to just pull it. Unfortunately, it's a big ant mound too, but that's the piece I want right there. I made it that far with a handsaw. This wood actually looks pretty healthy despite the bottom half, so I'll probably remove anything that's rotted on here. I really want to do something really unique and artistic with this bottom half included, but after washing it, a little too much of it is rotted out. So I think I'm gonna start by just getting the circular saw and just cutting this bottom half out and then decide where I wanna go from there. But I think the plan, this is the only piece of wood I wanna use. So I'm gonna try to get everything like the backboard and the part that the jaw sits on all from this one piece of wood. But we'll see how that works out. Ooh, this thing got a little hot. That wood was burning. It has a really weird smell. It must be all the rotten stuff in there, but whoa. I took the Sawzall to the back and I completely flattened it out. So now it should sit pretty much perfectly flat. And this is what we're left with. I think this is a beautiful piece of wood. It's kind of got the nice distress I'm looking for, and I think it'll look great on the wall. Essentially, this is how I want it to look. I think it'll look really good. I just got to figure out how I want to connect everything. The last main thing I'm going to do for the skull is I'm just going to super glue the teeth onto the jaw bones. That way everything stays in place, and then I'll attach the top skull to the bottom, and then we should be good to start figuring out how we want to attach it to this piece of wood. Some of the teeth that completely came out, I'm just going to put a healthy glob in there. Just like that. And then I take the tooth, just slide it in there. And repeat for the other side. Now this is what it looks like all glued up. So I've been playing around with the skull and the placement for a while now. What I decided to do is that piece of wood we've been working on. I just cut a little sliver off the back, about 1 inch thick. Part of that sliver looks like this. I think it's a pretty cool piece of wood. Still got the bark, underside's still pretty cool. But I think the idea is I'm gonna kind of mount it onto here like this, but I'm gonna inset it in there and it'll look nice and flush. And this piece is just for showing y'all. It's gonna be something like that. I'll bring the pig skull over here. And I think I want the pig skull to sit on top kind of like this. So let me move it over for y'all. So I want it to, in the end, look like that. Now that I have the recess in the skull made, it slides in pretty much perfect. I drew a line where I'm going to cut. That way it can be completely flush, and this will come down to the edge. After a lot of minor tweaks here and there, I finally got it to sit how I want it. Just like that right there. As you can see, it's tilted down just a little bit. But once I can get that screwed in, I think that's going to look great. So I ended up sinking 3 nails into it. This is what we're looking like now. It's exactly the angle I wanted from it. You know, that's gonna be flat on the wall. I want it to be angled down. I only sunk 3 screws into it, but this thing is sturdy. So let's go look at that pig and figure out how we're gonna mount it. So my new idea is I'm gonna feed some wire through where the brain goes and out, and I'm gonna drill 2 holes through here on each side, and then I'll be able to twist the wire really tight and it'll hold the skull onto the wood. So see, I can feed it through there and it comes out that hole there. So then I'll just bend it down and have both wires come back here. So as you can see, it's ran up there, comes back around. Okay, I got both sides done. So now let's drill 2 holes on each side of the wood. So I marked out where about the wires are gonna come down. So I'm just gonna drill 1 hole above and below the line on both sides. So now we got the wires sticking out. I think I'll just grab them and twist them up until they're real tight and then cut off whatever's extra. Okay, I got them both very tight. The skull won't even budge. It moves the whole thing with it. There we go, all snipped off. Hides it almost completely. What do y'all think? So theoretically, if you had it hung up, this is about what it would look like. Now for the mounting, I'm gonna drill 2 holes, 1 1/4 inch from the center, put 2 screws in and connect them with a wire so it can hang. I made these 2 little washers out of some sheet metal. Found, I have no clue what kind of wire this is, but just wrapped it around both sides, ran it through, wrapped it around, drilled it in with the washers, and this thing, I mean, it's not budging. So I feel super good about that. I was a little worried because this is a very heavy mount. Okay, here's the finished product. I think it looks great. I'm super happy with it. I wish the skull got just a little bit lighter, but overall, I'm glad with how the wood and everything turned out. I think it's really pretty. If y'all have any recommendations, please put them in the comments below. I've never done a project like this, so it should only get better from here. What do y'all think? If y'all made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this project. I had a blast with it over the past 4 or 5 months. I don't have a whole lot of fancy tools, so if I can do it, you can definitely do it. But overall, I love this rustic look on it, and it's exactly what I imagined in my head whenever I started the project. If y'all have any tips, please drop them down below. There's a lot of parts in here, especially with the whitening of the skull, that didn't go exactly how I wanted it. So if you have any better suggestions, please tell me. Thank y'all so much for watching. Please like, comment, and share. Thanks, and gig 'em.